on a Monday, and a rough Monday for all Titans fans as the season is over after a playoff loss to the Baltimore Ravens 20-13 at Nissan Stadium. It was the first home playoff game in 12 years, and it ended pretty similarly to the last Titans home playoff game to the Baltimore Ravens in a close defensive battle. The Titans offense could not get it done against a really good Ravens defense. Lamar Jackson doing enough, and the Titans season, historic season, breaking a lot of franchise records on the offensive side of the ball, came to a crashing halt because of a disastrous play call. We'll discuss that. We'll get into Mike Vrabel's decision to punt on 4th and 2, why we really should have seen that coming based off of a recent trend that Mike Vrabel has had the last stretch of this past season. We'll also discuss and get your emotions on how you feel today, waking up knowing this 2020 Titans season is over with the second best offense in the NFL. Derrick Henry, 2,000-yard rusher, nearly two 1,000-yard receivers, Ryan Tannehill, everything that was this season.
Nearly.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Nearly.
I just want to emphasize nearly.
I said it.
No, you were correct. Just nearly.
And then we'll talk about Mike Vrabel in 4th and 2. And then we're going to get into a discussion. I feel like the Titans wasted this season because of how it ended with this wild card playoff loss. We'll touch on that. And then it's Monday. So on Mondays, we've started the bad sales job segment to end the show. Normally, it doesn't have anything to do with the topic of the day, but because it is the Titans season-ending show, we're going to make our bad sales job about the Titans probably moving forward for the offseason. So that will be interesting and ironic at the end. But Zach, welcome in. We're going to have a great show here live from Mandu in Green Hills, our home studio.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to make me sell, but I'm going to really put you to the test for bad sales jobs today.
That's the point,
right?
Of
I'm pushing it to the limit. Because I love my idea. Light bulb came on earlier this morning. So bad sales job, one of our new segments. Really excited about that. But we got a lot to unpack, a lot to discuss from yesterday's game. Divisional round of the playoffs is set. That is next week. The Titans will not be a part of that. Before we get started, though, live from Mandu, as Austin said, our home studio. This is where we work out. Live right up the road. And we did a live workout actually last week. So take a look at that video. It lives on Facebook and some other social media platforms. But we're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Please share the broadcast. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline. How that happens is you guys retweet the broadcast. So please share the show that way. Also, on Facebook, Facebookers, what's going on? More people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. As you do, please share the show. Share now to public. Sharing is caring. And Austin, let's get this party started on a Monday morning to close out the 2020 Titans year.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports. And like our Facebook page and YouTube page at A to Z Sports Nashville. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they truly do make it happen for our show, for you guys as well. Renters Warehouse Nashville. Find out how much your home can rent for at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, that's where we're at this morning. Mandu is the pulse of fitness where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout's free. The Tucker Agency, saving you money on your personal insurance. Easy as tuckertn.com. Calvin and Subtle for your brand new hardwood floors and finishings at calvinandsubtle.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, boneandjointtn.org. So, Zach, we're going to talk a lot about what went through yesterday's game. The Titans nearly doubled in total yardage, only 209 yards of offense for the Titans overall. But we had a long, heated post-game show from the mainstay yesterday to wrap that show up and wrap that game up. How do you feel now waking up on Monday morning after having an opportunity to sleep, to think, and to go back on several things that happened yesterday?
Well, missed opportunity by the Titans, and then Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's the difference. Lamar Jackson had the most to prove. We talked about this.
And the most pressure.
Prior to the game.
No doubt.
And the person with the most pressure and the most to prove rose to the occasion and won the football game and proved why he was the reigning MVP. He made the Titans look silly. And look, there wasn't a lot of points scored. It was only 20-13. But as prolific as this Titans offense has been, and you say historic because it has been, very, very good, only scored 13 points. You cannot score 13 points and win a football game. It just in 2020 that can't happen. It's too little of points. But Lamar Jackson ran all over the Tennessee defense. 136 yards, had the 48 yards touchdown scamper that made Kevin Byard, just sit there in his ankles, in his feelings. And look, Lamar Jackson does that to people, right? That's what happens. But that's why defensively they had to be sound. And then offensively, the Titans had to make a lot more plays than they did. So it's unfortunate. Did I think the Titans could win the Super Bowl going into the playoffs? No, I did not. They just weren't that type of team. They didn't have, as we call them, the horses to get there. Did I think they could win a playoff game? Absolutely.
We both expected them to lose to the Ravens.
But I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have won. We talked about that on the pregame show. If the Titans would have beaten the Ravens, I would not have been surprised because of what they have been able to do throughout the course of the season. They had beaten the Ravens before. I thought it was going to be a close game. It was, but they didn't make enough plays, and it's unfortunate that Mike Vrabel, honestly, and we will get more into the 4th and 2 call later on in the show, that's just so uncharacteristic of his coaching style, right? Like I'm talking about style. I'm not talking about the actual decision. I'm talking about who Mike Vrabel has shown us as media or as Titans fans, who he wants to be as a in-game head coach. He went against everything that we thought we knew.
Yeah.
And that is head-scratching. And that's we'll get into emotion, but it's very head-scratching of why he would not go for it and trust his offense and trust his defense.
Well, I actually I have some research that I did this morning that we'll talk about 4th and 2 and really why it shouldn't have been surprising for Mike Vrabel. We'll get into that later on. And Zach, the defense played well enough to win this game. Everybody knows that. If we talked about this in the pregame show. Remember when you said you thought the Ravens would score 31 points and win the game? And I thought if the Ravens only score 31, the Titans have a great chance to win. If anybody knew before the game the Ravens only would put up 20 points, you think that's like 95% chance Titans victory. 20 points, that means they only need 3 touchdowns, 3 scores to beat the Ravens. That should have been a gift. And, they kicked a 25-yard field goal. Gostkowski had another 40-something yard field goal in that game. So they sputtered out in the red zone a couple times and only got that 1 touchdown on their second drive of the game to A.J. Brown. But this game was lost by key coaching decisions and limitations of offensive personnel. That's how I feel like the game was lost because Khalif Raymond had to be on the field. He only played 3 snaps on offense the entire game, and one of them was the Ryan Tannehill interception when Marcus Peters might have touched him like that, and he flopped over, right? It looked like an NBA or soccer flop the way Khalif Raymond hit the ground after that contact.
No, it wasn't a flop. I think
it looked like that's
it was not a flop. If you rewatch the play, Khalif Raymond is looking back for the football and doesn't know Marcus Peters is there. Now, is that Khalif Raymond's fault? Yes, it is. You have to know your surroundings.
You got to be stronger than that. You got to play stronger than that.
He's not.
And that's why I'm saying
he doesn't have the physical ability to play stronger.
And that's why I'm saying offensive limitations were a part of costing them that game. We talk about Jonnu Smith, and we'll talk about Jonnu Smith's future all the time.
He's 5'8", 182.
Exactly. But he was forced to be in that game. The other option is Cam Batson, who might be shorter but a little bit stronger than Khalif Raymond. So, or Nick Westbrook, right? Like, they're not good options with Corey Davis having his helmet taken from him from some undisclosed reason that we're probably never going to learn about.
No, we'll find out.
I hope so.
We will find out.
I hope so.
And I will find out.
But coaching decisions.
I will make sure that we find out. That is a promise. We will find out.
We also tried to find out what was wrong with Adoree Jackson's knee for months, and it was impossible to figure that out. Maybe because Corey Davis is going into free agency.
Those are apples and kiwis, my friend. We will find out why Corey Davis wasn't on the field.
Randy says y'all need to go down the roster and state what y'all will do this offseason. Look, Randy, we've got 2 months before free agency. We will do all of these things.
Oh, Randy.
Cool down.
Randy.
Yeah, don't let the horses get out of the stable too early. We will have so much to talk about with this Titans offseason. But, yeah, they lost this game because of coaching and limited offensive personnel when it mattered most. And now Titans fans wake up and you've got to be frustrated as hell because a record-breaking offense in this franchise, the second 2,000-yard rusher in franchise history, has something in common with the first 2,000-yard rusher in franchise history, and that's 0 playoff wins. Now, the Titans made it to the playoffs this year, unlike what Chris Johnson did in 2009, but nothing to show for it when it comes to the wild card in the playoffs moving forward.
All right, so let's ask this question to start the show. As we broadcast live from Mandu, you change your way of thinking, change your way of life. Mandu can help you with that. But here's the question. Describe your emotion after the Titans' season-ending playoff loss to the Ravens right now, okay? So yesterday you had time to react. We played the one-word game like we usually do, which I love because you guys are very creative in your words. But now describe your emotion. Like, how do you feel after a night's sleep, as we say, right? Every single week we react to Monday a little more clear-headed because you've had some rest. I mean, I literally passed out on the couch watching Sunday Night Football because yesterday was a long day for a lot of reasons.
And it was a highly emotional day.
Yeah, so
with a lot of fumes riding.
Right? So describe your emotion after the Titans lost to end their season against the Ravens.
First, real quick, let me tell you about Mandu. That's where we are. We're in their Green Hills location. This is where Zach and I work out every week. Mandu.com. Your first workout is always free. It's 15-minute workout of full-body electronic muscle stimulation. You might be thinking, what the heck is that, and why is it only 15 minutes? But that 15 minutes simulates 5+ hours in the weight room. It helps you build strong, functional muscle. It also helps activate that hard-to-burn body fat. And the trainers they have here are highly educated and can help you achieve your fitness goals. Everybody's got fitness goals for the new year, right? If you want to actually hit those goals and get those achievements, Mandu.com. Your first workout is always free. Check them out. Make them a part of your fitness for the rest of your life, because that's my plan. Mandu.com.
A to Z Sports, the question we guys are asking you is describe your emotion after yesterday's Titans 20-13 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, in which the Ravens had 17 unanswered points in the second and third quarter and held the Titans scoreless in those two quarters. I'm going to read some comments, and then, Austin, we'll get to your emotion. Matthew says upset. Donald goes disappointed. Danny says very disappointed. Lewis says pissed, still pissed off. That is a trend. Dejected from Marco. I think that's a great word. Upsetting. Better than what we had. Way better. Yuri comes in there with that. Bittersweet from Alex. Happy when we won the division, but loss seemed expected. Apollo says blah. Furious at Vrabel from Bobby. Depressing. Died inside from Chris. Drained from Tighten Up Ohio on YouTube.
Drained is a good one. Now, you guys don't have, we're not limiting you to one word, but you guys are doing a really good job with the descriptions.
Randy says relieved. High blood pressure coming his way because of, the season. Jeff says panda, which is kind of funny. Exposed from Philip. Got some more relieved coming in. Frustrated from Ethan. Perplexed. Heartbroken from Tommy. Mad from Juggy, which is a very interesting name. Conflicted from I Will 931. Austin, I'll ask you this question. What is your emotion from yesterday's loss? And you know what? Look, Austin, you and I are not like extreme, true blue Titans fans.
No, we're not.
But we have a vested interest because we put in time and effort into the season of covering the team, watching the team. I mean, we want I've always said I want the Titans to win the Super Bowl every year because of what it can do for this business. It will help this business. It will help our brand, and that's pulling no punches.
Well, and every media member would want to cover a Super Bowl champion team, right? Like that's like
it's an experience.
It's a bucket list type thing.
It's a human experience.
Exactly.
That's not the case this season.
Correct.
So, Austin, what's your emotion?
Flabbergasted from Marvo is great, but I feel like it's a complete wasted opportunity, and you're going to look back at this year, however 5, 10, however many years down the road, and look back at 2020, because 2020's football team for the Tennessee Titans organization is always going to be remembered and compared against for offensive numbers. So the next time a Titans offense, doesn't matter what year, 2030, the next year the Titans offense is top in the league, you're going to compare it to 2020 and what these guys were able to do. And last year's mantra was run it back, and you missed on that. You ran it back. You achieved your regular season goals of winning the AFC South, but there's a difference in regular season goals and overall goals because you massively came up short in a game that you had to have. You had your fans wait 12 years between home playoff games, and they ended the exact same. Disappointed. A great running game was stymied against the Ravens defense, and you walked out of that stadium losing in the first playoff game.
What's your emotion?
My emotion is that they missed and wasted a massive opportunity.
Your singular emotion. You just look. I don't disagree with everything you said. That's fine. You can feel that way, but you're not answering any of the question. What is your emotion? I'll repeat the question for you if you don't know it. Describe your emotion after the Titans' season-ending playoff loss to the Ravens. I would like you to answer the question just like everybody else.
I feel like I have.
What is it?
That they wasted a massive opportunity. They wasted a year. That's my emotions about this season. And we'll talk about that deeper, but
right? We're going to talk about that later on.
I mean, am I pissed because
I don't know. This is you. This is your deal.
Yes, I don't know. I am frustrated at this team because of.
So you're settling on frustrated.
Okay, I'll settle on frustrated because you don't like my wasted opportunity.
Well, you didn't answer, right? You just sat there and you didn't answer the question.
Because
that's what we asked them to do. We've got to do the same thing.
All right, so. Frustrated because this defense did what it took to win last night or yesterday. The offense let everybody down. The head coach let everybody down. The offensive coordinator. By the way, I think we need to create a new topic because I just saw this from Adam Schefter, and I don't know how to feel about this. And I think Titans fans will be pissed off about this too. The offensive coordinator had a bad game yesterday. The quarterback had a bad game yesterday, and Derrick Henry had a bad game, probably because everybody else had a bad game.
That's a recipe for a loss.
So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Adam Schefter said Arthur Smith interviewed for the Jags job after the game last night. Now, Arthur Smith can do whatever the hell he wants to do because the season is over, but how does it make you feel to know that your offensive coordinator interviewed for another job the same day after his poor performance played a massive role in your season ending? If I'm one of you guys, I am furious at Arthur Smith. Like, I feel like, and he can do whatever he wants to do, but that feels like bad optics. That makes me think Arthur Smith knew he had this head coach interview scheduled, and then it impacted his ability to do his job in that game. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't think it impacted his ability. I will confirm of what I've been thinking of the last several weeks is that he's 90% gone. That confirms my notion, right? Like, there's no way that he was going to come back. This is just, he's not going to get this opportunity. You're talking about a historic season. You strike while the iron is hot, and the iron is burning hot.
If he interviews today, I don't have a problem.
It doesn't
matter.
But
the same day?
It doesn't matter, right? So some things in life that just happen, it doesn't matter, right? If they're going to do what, like, the season is over. He's not like, what is he going to do? You go home and stew, get mad?
You just take a day or take the night, half a day. The game ended at 3 p.m. and he interviewed for a job.
He's talking to 6 teams.
I understand.
It's not, no, Austin, I'll actually disagree with you adamantly. It is actually idiotic to wait because you want to get as many interviews in as possible to find your next job in a short amount of time because these coaches are going to get hired. You want the opportunity. So you're
right, let's read some comments because I want to hear.
You win emotion on you. You win emotion.
Well,
I go strategy.
Okay, that's fine.
Strategy should always outweigh emotion.
All right, let's stretch this out further and get their responses because I want to hear how you guys feel. How do you feel about Arthur Smith interviewing for the Jags job?
Big Mac says treason.
Yeah, I mean that's a little strong, but it's funny. But how do you feel about Arthur Smith interviewing for the Jags head coaching job? This is like directly after they lose to the Ravens in the playoffs. But first, Zach, tell everybody about the Tucker Agency.
Interesting news. That is, look, I did not know that. There's Adam Schefter doing a damn good job. Before we dive into this and talk more about what Arthur Smith did yesterday, Tucker Agency, tuckertn.com is where you need to go for your insurance. They've got life insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, car insurance. You're driving around. And plus, they'll bundle some of those packages together to save you money. The average customer that emails will@tuckertn.com saves 20% on their insurance. You cannot beat that. That is an incredible deal. That's will@tuckertn.com.
A to Z Sports here live from Mandu. How do you feel about Arthur Smith interviewing for the Jags job directly after the game and losing the season? Karen says, don't have a preview, being unprepared. Sounds like Smith split his time between game plan and sales pitch. Showed yesterday.
That's a ridiculous assumption.
Red Star fan said Jags are impressed with how he sabotaged the rival, so they did it for PR. Justin says, makes you feel like his attention was not all on the game. Paul says he checked out before yesterday's game anyway. Tim says, I like Smith, but not sure he's going to be a great head coach. Did not make in-game adjustments. Let's see. Bobby says, is what it is. Dable had 2 interviews yesterday already. At least it wasn't before the Ravens game. Brian Dable won a game and then did not interview until the next day. Again, I think it's just poor taste. And
because he won a game.
Because
he won a game. That's idiotic, Austin, for you to even
Brian
reference
Dable
that.
Succeeded with his job. Arthur Smith
he still has,
at his
because he
job.
still has a job to do.
Hold on. What are you saying with the Brian Dable thing?
That he won the game and didn't interview.
Right, but he did the next day. And so he took the next day to do it. Arthur Smith did it the same day after they lost.
Arthur Smith has nothing to do right now. The game is over. The season is over.
Okay, Puka says, I agree, Austin. This interfered. Wait till next day.
Guys, get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. Titans fans' emotion, and I don't know why Austin's emotion.
Because I think it's weird. As Jay
it's
said.
Not weird. It is opportunistic. You want a good word? Arthur Smith was opportunistic because, look, there's only 6 jobs. They're going to go quick. This is the best opportunity for him to get a head coaching job.
Right. And so
he may never be in this position again, Austin.
And Keenan says it's bad form. Brent says he should have waited until today to interview as it's a
Get out of your feelings, guys. Get out of your feelings.
Alan says, agree with Austin. Smith has duty to break down game with coaching staff and players.
Michael never using FedEx again.
Loke says it's selfish. Louis agrees with me. Chris says, I understand, but it was selfish. Chris says, again, I think it's less effort to do via Zoom or something.
Guys, get out of your feelings. Drake, okay?
Loke says, F the feelings take.
No.
NJ Titan agrees with me.
Because you guys are in your emotions.
I think it's weird, bad optics.
Who cares? Who cares? Intern Liz, who happy birthday, Liz, says you can't blame him for wanting to advance his career. Everyone in this chat would at least go to the interview to hear what they have to offer. Liz, Liz gets the love of the show. I'm dishing out.
I have no problem.
Liz gets the love of the show.
Arthur Smith interviewing for all 6 jobs. The Lions will also interview in the next coming days from Ian Rappaport. That's fine. If Arthur Smith interviewed today with the Jags, what's the difference? I think in anything, it's bad optics on Arthur Smith to interview for another head coaching job hours after, with no sleeps in between, you losing and being done.
Why do you care?
Why do I care? I think it's weird. I think it's bad optics. That's why I care. Should I not have an opinion about that?
Yeah, but your opinion is too moody. It's a feel thing. This is a strategy, Austin, and I will repeat the love of the show, Liz. You can't blame him for wanting to advance his career.
I'm not blaming him for advancing his career.
You're saying it's bad optics to advance his career?
No. It's bad optics for doing it on the same day. When his performance was as bad as it was.
They're hiring coaches.
Zach, if our
6 teams are hiring. This is when they're interviewing.
Let me just understand.
What if the Jags say, hey, they asked him for the interview, and then he said no?
Why couldn't he say, let's do it Monday morning?
They are interviewing other people.
Why would
they're interviewing other people? The schedule, it may not have been indicative to that.
They can look, if they want Arthur Smith.
The Jags are trying to hire coaches.
If the Jags want to hire Arthur Smith, and if they really want the interview, they'll find a way to put it on the schedule.
They don't know. They're trying to interview him.
Okay.
You don't
you
are off base on this.
Here's my opinion, Zach. Here's my opinion. if Arthur Smith and the Titans offense puts up 35 points and they lose 38-35 and the defense was awful against the Ravens, I don't have a problem with it.
season's
But
over.
because this was the worst game of the offense's season, and Arthur Smith immediately goes and does a head coaching interview, like Ethan Ramsey said. Clearly,
don't listen to Ethan Ramsey.
Why not? He's right.
No, he's wrong.
We know Arthur Smith.
You guys are emotionally
we know Arthur Smith.
Attached.
Let me talk. We know Arthur Smith is a prepared individual. So Ethan said that he was preparing for a game plan and head coaching interview simultaneously.
You're assuming. And you know what you look like is an ass because you're assuming right now.
Good one.
That's exactly what you have no
Joseph
idea.
Says,
you don't
out
know what
of
his
respect for the team, he should have waited.
Austin, you know what you're doing? You're doing the same thing that we didn't do to Corey Davis yesterday. You are assuming all of these different things without knowing truly how Arthur Smith was, what he was doing, or how he was feeling.
Here's what I know.
Here's
what I know.
That is a travesty.
Here's what I know. The worst offensive output of the entire year for the Tennessee Titans, and Arthur Smith interviewed for a head coaching job directly after. That's bad optics.
Because he wants to be a head coach.
That's fine. He can be a head coach. What's the difference in Sunday night and Monday for the Jags?
That's when they asked him to do it.
Then he should have said, you know what, I'm focused. Because what did Arthur Smith say?
He's not focusing on anything.
What did Arthur Smith say?
He's not focusing on anything.
Okay.
The season's over.
All right. Then we're gonna move on from this because
the season's over. He has nothing to do.
But
he's not prepared. There's no more games. There's no more games, Austin. There's no more game plan.
It's about having that hanging over your head. And did that interview schedule impact your ability to do your job?
You're assuming things again.
I'm asking a question.
No, you're assuming.
I still think
you're insinuating that it did by asking the question. And that is wrong. You're doing what we did not do to Corey Davis yesterday. So I think you need to reevaluate that. We don't know Arthur Smith.
Corey Davis, we know
the facts that we know is we do not know Arthur Smith's mindset. And the other fact is that the season was over.
Do you think they called him right after the season? Right after the game
I don't know.
Hey, you want to interview in 30 minutes?
I have no idea. But I'm not going to speculate on what contact they had. But Austin, he's trying to get a head coaching job. He should. He's worked all of his life for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
You take every interview and twice on Sunday. If you would have scheduled a Falcons interview later that day, he should have taken it. Guys, get out of your emotion.
All right, Jay. Thank you, Jay. As a reporter and media member, Austin is supposed to ask these questions. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No. He's not asking questions. He's assuming things, Jay.
I was asking questions. I said it's a fair question to ask and to wonder if Arthur Smith having a head coaching interview.
Wondering and asking are two different things.
I'm doing both. I can do both at the same time. I'm a human being. I have a brain. I can use.
You assume too much.
You assume too much too. We both assume too much because what do we do for a living?
I'm talking about in this conversation, Austin.
I'm questioning. Yes, I'm questioning whether a head coaching interview scheduled after the game impacted his in-game performance that was bad.
This is the last thing I'll say. Emotionally detach yourself. That's what Arthur Smith did, and you know what? That's what good coaches do. They emotionally detach themselves so they make the correct decision.
And G-Man
trying to get a job.
G-Man says if the Titans would have won, you would have felt differently. Yeah, if Arthur Smith would have performed well, then I probably wouldn't have cared because then it wouldn't have impacted his ability to do his job. If this could have potentially impacted his ability to do his job on Sunday, then that's bad on Arthur Smith.
Ifs and ifs and ifs.
Well, of course, but
ifs and ifs and ifs. That's all you said.
Whatever. All right, let's
You're saying if it impacted, you have no idea if it impacted.
Because that's why I'm saying because if it didn't, if it was scheduled after the game, then there's difference.
You know one thing that did impact the game?
What?
It wasn't Arthur Smith's decision. It was Mike Vrabel's.
Yes. Arthur
Smith had nothing to do with 4th and 2.
Well, maybe.
No, Mike Vrabel's the head coach.
Well, yes.
Mike Vrabel makes the final call.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But Arthur Smith is not safe from blame for the 4th and 2 situation.
He's not to blame for 4th and 2.
Not completely, but he's not free from it. And
the
free
decision
from
to go for it or punt on 4th and 2 is Mike Vrabel.
He's not free from the situation at all. We'll dive deeper in this, what Mike Vrabel's 4th and 2 decision says about him moving forward as Titans head coach. But real quick, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org. That is their website. Also have a brand new location as of today opening up in Nolensville. So if you need physical therapy or sport ortho clinic, they got one in Nolensville along with their fantastic facility in Franklin, boneandjointtn.org. Whenever that injury happens in life, make sure you go where you can get the best care possible at boneandjointtn.org.
So I want to address this real quick. Danny says, Zach, that's so backwards. We are fans, which that is true. We're only in this because of feelings. There are no fans without feelings. I don't like your take at all. Danny, I respect. That's why I read it. I respect your comment. But here's my job is you are fans. That is correct. And that's okay. I value that. But when getting emotionally upset with pitchforks about a decision that a man did without emotions to better his career, I'm trying to explain to you the reasoning behind it. That's all I'm doing, Danny. And you can disagree. That's completely fine. But that is my job, to detach myself from feelings and think with logic and realism of why that happened. So I want to close that out right there.
All right. Well, Zachary George has a comment that'll lead us into this topic. He says, whatever happened to we go for it on fourth down now? Talking about Mike Vrabel, and we all know the Mike Vrabel mantra, fast and aggressive. Mike Vrabel, the only coach, the only decision in the playoffs since 1994 from Pro Football Reference to punt on 4th and 2 or less in the fourth quarter, down one score in the playoff game in plus territory like that. Since 1994, the only coach to make that decision to punt. Everybody else went for it. Now, Mike Vrabel has had 3 consecutive games, Zach, where he's flubbed a fourth down decision in plus territory. Let's rewind to the snow game in Green Bay. 4th and 7. Now, this was on the Titans' first possession of the game. They were down 6-0 after the Packers scored a touchdown and missed the extra point. 4th and 7 at the Packers' 32-yard line. They did not take a delay game. They did not try to kick a field goal in the snow, which we agree with. They punted from the 32-yard line, and it went in the end zone, and they only netted 12 yards. Last week in Houston, this was in the fourth quarter. They were up by 3 points during the Texans' comeback. 4th and 11 at the 37. They went for it on 4th and 11, and Tannehill got a sack. That's a situation where you take a delay game and punt. We also agree you don't kick the field goal there because Sam Sloman's a replacement kicker. Then yesterday, 4th and 2 on the 40-yard line, 10 minutes left in the game, down one score. He punted from the 40 with Derrick Henry on the sideline for 3rd and 2. Bad decisions all around. I think 3 consecutive games Mike Vrabel messed up, 4th down in the opponent's territory, 3 games in a row.
And I think I look at the 4th and 11 call, and look, different games, different situations.
Sure.
So, right.
But in my opinion, singularly, I think he made the wrong decision in all 3 games.
I don't agree with all 3 of them, but I understand what you said. I think if you're willing to go for it on 4th and 11 at some point in the season, then you should be willing to go for a 4th and 2
the week
in
before.
the playoffs.
The week before.
With
the lead.
That doesn't matter. It's a 4th and 11, right?
Right.
And so the question we're asking you is, what does Mike Vrabel punting on 4th and 2 say about his Titans team? To me, it said that he didn't trust him. And I think that sends shockwaves, I think, or should, through the team. If you don't think that you can get 2 yards with Derrick Henry, who had struggled all game, mind you, and Corey Davis wasn't available for some reason. We're not going to assume anything, so we don't know.
Well, he didn't have his helmet, which tells us the trainers took it. So it tells us some type of injury.
We don't know.
That's why they take helmets.
We don't know why. We have no idea why. So, again, I'm not going to speculate and criticize a player when I do not know why he wasn't in the game. So I'm not going to do that. And Vrabel was asked the question, and he completely stiff-armed it, which I did lose a little bit of respect on that. I feel like he should have explained a little bit of why Corey Davis. He was not able to go because you're not trying to protect the player. The season's over. So something was going on. So Corey Davis not available on 4th and 2. You have to figure out how to get that first down. Read option, Tannehill keeper, something, right? You've been creative in the past. You're an aggressive head coach. You're an aggressive team. You're a prolific offense. And you won't risk the biscuit on 4th and 2. I don't know. I question why he did that, because you don't leave it in here's the other follow-up, Austin. In the press conference, he was asked this question by our own Buck Rising, and his answer was long, but one of the things that he said was he thought they were playing well defensively.
And then he ended the answer to that question with, "I really enjoyed watching them play defense yesterday."
The defense played better, but
now you get to wait 8 months before you can watch them play defense again.
The defense, honestly, at that point had just been outscored compared to your offense by essentially 20-3.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 quarters, your defense had given up 20 points. So it wasn't getting better. It was actually getting worse. I think that's my issue.
Yeah. Well, and to me, the 3rd and 2 play call was as bad as the 4th and 2 decision.
It just didn't mean as much.
It didn't mean as much, because the 3rd and 2 you play for, that's what makes no sense. Is in all 3 of these situations where I think Mike Vrabel missed and made a bad decision on 4th down in plus territory against Green Bay, Houston, and Baltimore, all 3 plays on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down were run on 1st down, incomplete pass, incomplete pass. Now, they had varying differences of success on 1st down. Against the Green Bay, they got 3 yards. Against Houston, they lost 1 yard. And against Baltimore, Derrick Henry had his best carry of the game. And we all watched it. You guys watched it. They showed the behind the line of scrimmage camera angle. Derrick Henry almost high-stepped out of that tackle to the end zone on the play right before. Now, maybe Tannehill audibled out of 2nd and 2 play call and threw it deep to A.J. Brown, but it's 3rd and 2. And Derrick Henry was on the sideline. Why is Derrick Henry on the sideline? Do something with 22 to not tip off that you're going to throw the ball. Because with 22s on that field in 3rd and 2, if you do a play action, something is open. If you give it to Derrick Henry, he probably gains 2 yards. If you do the zone read with Tannehill, he probably gains 2 yards. But you know what happens when Derrick Henry's on the sideline? The Ravens are going, they're throwing the football. This really upset you. It pisses me off.
No, I know. The entire show, you're usually my vein in my neck is popping out, but most of the show it's been, so I'll ask you, I want to reset this. Why did this upset you as much as it seems like it has?
Because coaching decisions and bad personnel decisions by people who have control and the people that should be taking responsibility cost this team the game.
The personnel decisions, whose fault is that?
I mean, it all ends with Vrabel, but I don't know who is in charge of personnel on any given offensive situation.
Or you're specifically talking about the Corey Davis situation?
No, I'm talking about Derrick Henry being on the sideline on 3rd and 2, and Derrick Henry being on the sideline on 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4 earlier in the game. That's ridiculous. That's so dumb. That's idiotic.
And there was some frustration.
You're tipping your hand, and they've done this a lot this season. 3rd and run potential, which for the Tennessee Titans, 3rd and 4 and shorter should be a potential run down. So it's a conflict down for the opposing defense. And so many times they remove the conflict for the defense by putting Derrick Henry on the sideline, because they're not going to get the ball to Jeremy McWeapon on 3rd and 4 on 3rd and 2. That's stupid as well.
So
it's obvious. It's when football coaches think they're so smart, they outthink themselves. It pisses me off.
Well, and the Titans offense all year, and this is kind of head scratching, is they rarely look at 3rd and 2 as we have Derrick Henry, we can get 2 yards in 2 plays. They rarely look at that. And I think that is also a struggle as a viewer of a game plan, right? Because if you have a 2,000-yard rusher, the best running back in the NFL, and you're 3rd and 2, the mindset should be that our bell cow back can get 2 yards on 2 plays. And if one of those plays is not to Derrick Henry, to your point, he should be a decoy for Ryan Tannehill, right?
How many times have we watched this offense?
It's the perfect read option play on 4th and 2 for Tannehill to pull it.
It's worked so many times.
Because Tannehill's going to leave it all on the line.
And you know what's crazy?
He's a gamer.
You know what's crazy? Is the Titans only converted 1 first down running the football yesterday, and it was Tannehill's quarterback sneak right before the 2-minute warning. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable by the entire offensive coaching staff.
And credit has to go to the Ravens defense, though. The Ravens defense did a stellar job of bottling up a running back for just 40 yards. On 18 carries, 40 yards, this man had 200 plus the week before. So
50.
So I think the reason why the Ravens won the game is because of two things. Very simple. Lamar Jackson and their defense. It wasn't anything that the Titans did or didn't do. It was because Lamar Jackson was better than anybody on the field yesterday, and the defense was much better and played much better than any facet of the Titans football team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm not as upset. I understand your frustration.
I'm upset because...
But you are upset.
I am. I cannot stand...
The level is very high today.
Yes, because they've wasted this year.
So let's get into that because I disagree with that. Like, I understand how this could be an emotional day for a lot of people, but it shouldn't be. Okay?
Why should it not be?
I will tell you. The reason why it should not be an emotional day is this team, and you picked the Ravens.
I know that.
So why are you so upset?
What? Because they lost the game by their own decision making. That's why.
You didn't think the Titans were going to win anyway,
right? I didn't trust them, and I was right to not trust them.
So you got proved correct.
So, like, I don't do this show just to prove how right I am and beat my chest every time I'm right. That's not my goal in life as a sports talker.
No, I'm saying, but your feelings were proven correct on the field.
Yes, that doesn't mean I go parade it in everybody's faces. Like, they're all pissed off. Like, here's why I'm upset.
The only reason why I would be upset is because of the 4th and 2 call.
Mark, thank you.
That's the singular.
I'm upset because I understand football and I understand why they make bad decisions, and I should call them out on making bad decisions that cost them their season.
You have, and we both have. I'm upset about. I will say I'm upset at two things. Two things about yesterday. I thought the Ravens were going to beat the Titans. If the Titans would have beaten the Ravens, I wouldn't have been shocked because they had the offense to do it. But the reason why I am upset about yesterday, that I struggle, is because of the aftermath. Is I don't know the answers to the 4th and 2 call because Vrabel skipped out on the question. That's what he did. He said that he trusted his defense. His defense sucked. It sucked all year. It had just given up 20 straight points. So or 17 really. But so that was my one issue, is the 4th and 2 call, because it goes against everything that he stands for. Aggressive, fast, physical, go for it. Trust your team. Trust your guys. Trust your players. And then the other thing is the Corey Davis dodge. Like, tell us. You have to tell us.
Yes, you're not protecting Corey Davis for next week's game anymore.
You have a number 5 overall pick that has had his best year of his career, that in the most important moments of his Titans career, and probably is going to be of his Titans career, he is missing in action. Now, if it's justified because of a reason, I'm completely okay with that. Like, if he had a concussion or got hit in the head or something happened where he could not go, but the optics are that he's on the sidelines because he's frustrated or something happened. Did he get into a scuffle with a coach and they said, hey, we're sitting your ass down for the rest of the game? Like, I don't know. And now it makes our jobs hard and fans' jobs hard and difficult because they assume things. And as we know from the Arthur Smith discussion, is you don't want to assume things. It's not fair. But Vrabel had the opportunity to set the record straight, and I don't buy his two answers on those two things. Other than that, I'm not really surprised or upset.
All right, so I do think this was a wasted season. In my opinion, this season by the Tennessee Titans was a wasted season. Let's dive into that deeper. But first, Zach, tell the people about Calvin and Subtle. I have to check on my computer charger because whatever reason my computer's not charging. But tell the people about Calvin and Subtle, and I'll be right back.
CalvinandSuttle.com. That is where you need to go. Hardwood Highlight. They were the sponsor of our halftime show all season long. Calvin and Subtle is where you need to get your hardwood floors. We're going to be showcasing some of their hardwood floors throughout the course of the season. And as we do, please go to CalvinandSuttle.com and think about renovating your home, whether it's your dining room, your living room, your bedroom. They have your perfect hardwood floors and flooring. That is CalvinandSuttle.com.
A to Z Sports here live at Mandu Green Hills. Mandu is the pulse of fitness where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout is free. I think, Zach, this is a wasted season by the Tennessee Titans losing in the first round. And I'm curious to see how you guys feel about this because the regular season goals need to be separated from the overall goals. The regular season goal, it was supposed to be achieved to make the postseason goal easier to achieve. 11-5, winning the South, getting a home playoff game, that is important, and it leads you to have a successful regular season. But you wasted the opportunity of having a home playoff game, and really what happened last night with the Steelers getting bounced, you would have gone to Buffalo to play them if you would have won and beat the Ravens, which maybe you've beaten Buffalo once this season. Maybe you can do it again. I don't know. But you
didn't think that.
But you at least give yourself a chance.
You would have picked Buffalo.
I would absolutely pick Buffalo.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's fine. Stated.
And I understand that.
So
I would have absolutely. I'm not. But I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about them. Is that they at least give themselves a chance by winning one playoff game and having an opportunity for an upset on the road in Buffalo the next week in the divisional round, where they've been really good. They've been really good on the road in the playoffs over the last several years. It's a wasted opportunity because of what's going to happen this offseason with the entire situation. And we have 2 months before free agency starts, roughly. So we have plenty of time to go into each individual situation. But you've got expensive contracts all over the field.
It's every year.
You've got it, but
this is the same thing every year.
But it's different this year, Zach, because the salary cap's not increasing. The salary cap is at best decreasing by a couple mil.
You get Vic Beasley and Jadeveon Clowney off the books.
That's fine. That's fine. But
that's pretty more than fine.
Zach, they were limited.
It's $20 million.
Yeah, but what if the cap's down to 175 or 180 like they think it could be? Now you're having to make other moves. You're having to cut players. You have to rework contracts. You can't afford to re-sign all of your free agents, and you have 20, including every tight end on the roster has an expiring contract. Corey Davis, Jayon Brown. I already mentioned Jonnu Smith with every tight end. You've got so many impactful players.
This is fear. It's not fear. You are trying to fear bait people into this.
I'm telling you what the reality is.
This is ridiculous.
Zach,
This is so ridiculous.
The window was open, and they wasted
Don't Corona bro us. Okay, this is kind of what you're doing.
I'm not at all.
The virus is going to come and kill you.
Like, shut up about that.
No, that's what you're doing. You're sitting here talking about the offseason and contracts and all this other BS.
Because that's the reality,
No,
Zach.
this is not a wasted season.
It was.
You want me to spit some knowledge at you? Last year, the Titans overachieved. Okay?
I also agree with that.
Well, yeah, you have to because they were a 9-7 team. They went to the AFC Championship game. They overachieved. I think that changed the mindset completely about the Titans organization. This year, their defense was not good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. They were not good enough, obviously, to make it to the divisional round.
They were good enough to win yesterday.
They were not good enough. Obviously, on 4th and 2, they weren't.
They were good enough. No, actually, if the defense wasn't playing as well.
But their offense wasn't because Lamar Jackson.
Defense was good enough to win yesterday.
Because the Ravens' defense was better. The Ravens' defense was better.
Yeah, okay, sure. But the Titans' defense, who failed them a lot all year,
how is this wasted?
Because they wasted a great opportunity with a historic offense.
They weren't going to. What was your expectations for them?
To win this playoff game, to at least have an opportunity to go beat a team for the second time in the season, the Buffalo Bills next week. You at least get the opportunity.
It's not wasted.
I think it is.
They kind of met where they were. With the defense they had, they met their expectation.
Charles says, anytime you don't win a championship is a wasted season. I disagree with that. It's a big picture. But he says, tired of placebos and fans should be too.
The Jags and the Jets really fell short this year.
The Jags did not waste their season. The Jags got better for the next decade because they're going to get Trevor Lawrence. But again,
they didn't win a championship.
Right. I disagree with Charles.
I know.
The Titans have a championship window. Do you agree?
Yes.
And
but this was not their championship team.
What is next year?
The reason why this was not their championship team, Austin, is because they had no pass rush. Like the Lamar Jackson 5 sacks, don't look at that. That's a Lamar Jackson thing, right? They didn't have the pass rush. They didn't have the horses to get out of the gate and win the race.
Zach.
You knew that, though, Austin.
But the defense came to play in the playoffs, and the offense that was great let them down. And the offense, Zach, is most likely going to be worse next year than it was this year.
The defense gave up 17 points in the second and third quarter. It wasn't like they were miraculous.
They only held Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to score 2 touchdowns.
Lamar Jackson had 136 yards rushing.
Yeah, and 48 of it, 2 of it was half. Two plays got half of that. Now they count.
That's not good defense.
But Zach, the defense kept them in the game. The defense
defense lost them the game because
no, the offense lost them the game.
When
the offense could not convert.
If you listen to what I said, you know who did convert on third down was the Ravens. In a key moment, Lamar Jackson won the game.
Zach,
the defense could have gotten the ball back for the offense. They had 3 timeouts.
Did
that happen?
Did the offense underperform yesterday?
Did the defense let Lamar Jackson win the game at the end?
Yes.
So that's the defense.
Yeah, but Zach, the Titans offense scored 13 points in the game when they averaged 31 for the season.
Because of the
they
Ravens.
Underachieved
the Ravens defense was outstanding.
They underachieved. The Ravens defense was phenomenal. But
so
that doesn't mean
that.
But that doesn't mean they were 18 points below the Titans season average.
Sometimes good defense shut down good offense. Actually,
Zach,
usually when you're trying for a championship, that
the Titans offense sucked after the first quarter.
I get, but
and again, that's why they lost the game.
You have venom.
I do because they wasted this
year.
Don't
have venom, right? Like the venom should not be that. At the end of the day, they did not have the team to win a championship, so they were trying to maximize what their team was, Austin. And I think to maximize their team was to maybe win this game to go to Buffalo. The 2 best teams in the AFC are the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
No
Obviously,
doubt.
The Chiefs are better.
No doubt.
But that's what it is, okay? The Titans this is not the team that wins the Super Bowl. It's just not.
Yeah, but to not even have one playoff win is embarrassing.
The Ravens were favored.
So ask the Titans players. They don't care about that. Like you still,
the Jags players after week 1 that they weren't satisfied. That doesn't matter. Like that's why you have fans and you have other people watching teams to know truly what the team is. And the Titans were a wild card / divisional team.
Zach, it was 17-13.
This is not a wasted season.
It is.
It's not a wasted season.
They wasted this opportunity.
Okay, you can have that opinion. I can't say the opinion's wrong.
Zach, it's the best offense they've had in over 20 years. They won 0 playoff games. It got them 0. Sure, they won the AFC South for the first time. Again, like I said earlier, you separate regular season goals and postseason goals. Achieving the regular season goals is supposed to make the postseason goals easier to achieve, and they failed immediately. Like they did not win a single playoff game after winning 2 last year. Sure, they overachieved last year. I've been on record saying that if the Dolphins didn't beat the Patriots in Week 17 last year, the Titans would have lost in Kansas City in the wild card round last year, and we would have an entirely different view of this organization.
But that didn't happen.
Right, it didn't. But they took advantage of that. They won the AFC South and did not take advantage of it. They flopped.
It's not a wasted season.
It is.
Though.
It is.
So if they would have won, what would you have described it as?
Then they have another opportunity to go beat Buffalo.
And if they lost to Buffalo, then the season would have been capped.
If they lost to Buffalo, then we have to find out how it happened. We can't just say black and white,
that's
right?
fine. If you're not going to answer the
I can't
hypothetical,
Zach,
if you're not going to answer the hypothetical, that's fine. That's okay.
But whenever I use hypotheticals and say if something, you throw back ifs and buts, beer nuts, we can have a party. So don't try to get on to me for not answering a hypothetical.
You just went through a ton of ifs of last year. You just literally fabricated a complete playoff scenario of last year that didn't happen. That's what you've been doing that for the last 2 minutes.
I acknowledge that they took advantage of the opportunity, and that's a realistic thing. Like we would view them differently.
But that's why I brought that up to you. It's because you've just gone through a 60-second spiel about what could have happened last year that didn't. That's why I brought that to you. And then you decided to say, I'm not going to play the game anymore. That's why I did what I did.
And Tyler on
You're just not listening. You're not.
I am.
So
Tyler
you're
on Twitter says these windows close very quickly. Ask the Preds. They do.
And
now
the Preds and NFL football are different.
But
and here's why I'll tell you this. So this is where I will. Who said that?
Tyler on Twitter.
Tyler, you're incorrect. And the reason why is a NFL quarterback can extend your playoff window exponentially. In hockey, it is not like that because you don't have a singular important player in team sport like the quarterback. That's the difference. Okay. So Aaron Rodgers' playoff window has been wide open for like 10 years. Tom Brady's playoff window still open, hadn't closed. The only time it closed was when he tore his ACL. So that is apples and kiwis, as we say on this show. And that doesn't matter. Don't compare those because they're different. Okay.
But again, the Titans are in the situation 12 years ago, and it took them 12 years to get back.
Right, but they've reset and recalibrated their organization. There's importance to that.
And it's about to get a lot harder.
Yeah. Don't fear bait us.
I'm not.
Every NFL team has to reset and sign contracts every year.
Right.
You're sitting here and fear baiting people.
I'm not.
And I will not have that.
I'm not fear baiting.
It is not that bleak.
You are letting things get to your head.
No,
I'm not fear baiting. I'm giving you the reality.
They have just signed. The best thing about this offseason, they don't have to re-sign their quarterback or their best player, which is Derrick Henry.
I know. They got 20 other guys that have expiring contracts.
Oh, my gosh. I can't deal with you when you talk about, like, the dark cloud of the offseason coming over this franchise.
It's a drastic offseason because they have a lot of key players with expiring contracts. They got 0 from their 2020 draft class, and there's a lot of pressure on them relying on rookies next season.
Every NFL
because
team
they have
has
to get
do that. Every NFL team
and
has
how
the
have the
same
Titans
problem.
been able to do that in the past? It's always taken them a couple times. And before you know it, Tannehill's going to be regressing and going to be expensive, and Derrick Henry's –
Oh, my God.
I'm serious.
Bro, you are the most pessimistic, ridiculous, skewed individual when it comes to heading into an offseason. And so don't listen to Austin. This is the first time I've ever said this. Do not listen to what he just said. Okay, if you're a true fan of the Tennessee Titans and you want to hear how bad your team is going to fall from the depths and fall from the clouds, listen to this guy.
They have a lot of work to do.
If you want some just real talk and things are not that bad, okay? They're not that bad. They're actually good. And so you can listen to Negative Nancy over here, or you can be real. But I cannot have this anymore. I would like to move on because I don't want to hear it anymore.
That's fine.
I'm done with it.
That's fine.
The season's over, and Austin just goes into just like, oh, this is hell. Hell's here. It's just ridiculous.
Well, because they missed out on a massive opportunity in their championship win.
I just can't hear it.
All right, Zach, A to Z Sports here live. Let's do this. Let's do bad sales job. We do this every Monday, which has become a really fun segment. We're doing bad sales job, Titans season ending version of this. So we'll do this. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever that injury happens in life, make sure you're prepared and know where to go, know who to call, and that's boneandjointtn.org. They have multiple facilities now. They got the one in Franklin that does everything from the doctor visits, the testing, the surgery, the rehab, all done right there. Or their Nolensville location that opened today, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, we're broadcasting live from Mandu. Change your life, 15-minute workout. It actually simulates 5 hours, and that is no lie. You will get a workout right here at Mandu. Austin and I work out here in the Green Hills locations, but they have locations throughout all over the country and throughout Middle Tennessee. You can go online and look if there is a location near you. I do like this game. I do not like the last segment. I'm done with that. We're moving forward. I do like this segment, and I like how we created it, and we're going to put each other to the test. I'm going heartstrings for you. I'm curious to see what you're coming with me.
All right. So who should go first? Because we're doing bad sales jobs. That means I give Zach something to sell that's really difficult, and he has to do it, vice versa, and you guys are the judge on who wins. So far, we've each won once. This is week 3 of bad sales job.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
I don't care. I'm locked and loaded. I can do it either.
Zach, I would like you to sell me on why, because we're doing Titans version today, right? I would like you to sell me on why Mike Vrabel does not need to hire a defensive coordinator next year and why he should continue with the current structure of his defensive coaching staff.
All right, you want to get the clock set
I'll get
up?
the clock ready.
Oh, man.
So you have 30 seconds to try to sell me on why Mike Vrabel should not hire a defensive coordinator and should continue the current defensive coaching staff structure for next year. You ready? The 30 seconds starts when you begin.
It's a player problem. It's not a coach problem. They didn't have the guys. Jadeveon Clowney, IR halfway through the season. Vic Beasley basically quit on the team before he actually started. The back half of the defense. Adoree was hurt the entire time. This is not about the coach. The defensive coordinator, he'll take over and structure it the way that they need. They just need better players. That's what it is. This is not a Mike Vrabel. They don't need a defensive coordinator, all right? They don't need one probably for the rest of his tenure. They got to get better players. This is on John Robinson, getting him the guys to get after the quarterback and helping everybody.
Pretty good. Marco says you should have gone with it starts with agriculture. All right, so that was not bad. That was the path I thought you should have gone. So the correct path of that. All right, so now you get to come up with my bad sales job.
Whew. All right. 30 seconds. Austin, you are going to have to tell me and the fine folks watching at home or wherever they're watching why the Titans' best play all year offensively was the toss to Derrick Henry.
Okay. Whew, this is tough because I do have an offseason project. It's not started yet. I do have an offseason project that I promised that I would do is go back and chart the stats snap by snap on every toss to Derrick Henry.
This, and you have to sell us. This is why it is the best play all year long. Toss to Derrick Henry.
You ready for the clock?
Yeah, when you start.
Okay. The toss play to Derrick Henry was not at any time about that specific snap. It was always about the long play. It was about setting up the plays down the road throughout the entire season. The reason why they ran it so often in the first 5 weeks was to get defenses thinking about the toss play, and then they would have a counter off of it. So Derrick Henry, while not successful, that was a total chess move, not playing checkers. The toss play is what they needed to open up big plays down the field later on.
All right, stop. That was rough. It was because you didn't talk about how it was the best play. You said that it was.
I just said that it wasn't bad.
You backhanded it by saying unsuccessful. I told you I was coming with the heartstrings today. I didn't know. You know what I thought you were going to do to me? I thought you were going to sell me on why Stephen Gostkowski's the best kicker in Titans history. I thought you were going to do something like that. That's what I was fearful of.
I could have done that. Should have done that. But I still think
I think I'm going to take the win.
Yeah, I think Zach won that one for sure. That was really tough. So you were 2-1. You've won 2 in a row after my week 1 win.
I'm on a
Hopefully I don't turn into the Jags.
Which one? Oh yeah, I lost Mississippi State. I would lose that.
Maybe I should just go back to the well.
Oh man,
you lost the first week when you said it starts with agriculture. Ever since then, it was.
I thought that was a smart, strategic way to give them a compliment right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Right. That was my sales theory.
Yeah,
per se.
For sure. All right.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad we're going to end on a positive note.
That was my whole point. Is I wanted to do bad sales job about the Titans season ending because I knew the first hour of the show was going to be negative, back and forth, the nonstop, and it was. And so we got to end on a laughing note.
Yeah. I didn't think it had to be, but
that's what it was going to be. They lost in the playoffs. It was going to be that. They lost the first home playoff game in 12 years.
And I don't want to take a victory lap on the Corey Davis thing because I don't know what happened at the end of the game. If he was injured, if he couldn't play, if something happened where he would have been a detriment to the offense, it's completely justified on the sidelines. But I will say overall about his Titans career, if in fact they do not re-sign him, that was a failed pick. 5 overall, you have to be better than that. And it's unfortunate because, and if it was an injury, that's out of his hands. But in the key moments of the game, they needed their number 5 overall pick to be in there in the best year of his career.
Yeah.
And he was unable to go.
Yep.
And that, I think the other thing that is disheartening, because we don't know if it was an injury, of what we've seen A.J. Brown play through for the last month.
Well, yeah,
right?
but we've also watched Corey
Well,
Davis.
really for the last year, because A.J. Brown said he tweaked his ankle week 1.
When he also had the no, I did not see that.
Yeah, he came out and said that he hurt his ankle week 1 of the season.
The same week where he had the bone bruise that cost him a couple of games too.
In Denver.
With the bone bruise happened in training camp.
Prior.
Played through,
but he said that ankle, that happened week 1. So he's been really battling.
And Corey Davis battled all last year, like played through a lot of things last year. And so, look, I don't think anybody questions Corey Davis's toughness. The guy's a tough player. But whatever happened yesterday was unfortunate and hurt the Titans.
Bad timing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Mike Vrabel and Titans players will speak via Zoom to end the season later on today, beginning at noon. And then Buck Rising will have A to Z Sports Prime Time tonight at 8. We've got podcasts out on our A to Z Sports Podcast Network. And we will be back tomorrow morning on a Tuesday, late night. Got to get your nap in because you know that college football playoff final is going to take like 5 hours tonight. So big game tonight, Alabama, Ohio State. We'll react to it tomorrow morning. Should be a good one. We'll see you guys later.
And also officially, the Titans 22 overall in the NFL draft in 2021. That's right. Is official.
All right.
That's some good news. 22 is better than 29.
True.
Right? Both don't have championships.
The Titans do have a 22nd overall pick on their roster right now, if I am correct.
Well, who is that?
I think it's Rashaan Evans. Didn't they trade up from 25 to 22 to get him?
They did trade up. Now we got to look this up before we go. Now, this is Rashaan Evans, football linebacker, was drafted.
Either 22 or 23. He might have been 23.
22nd pick in the first round in 2008.
We'll end on that one. All right, guys. We'll see you later on. See you tomorrow morning on a Tuesday morning. Thanks for watching.